Welcome, Eleanor, and welcome, everybody. Eleanor, I'm really glad you came in to the library to read a story for us.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm happy to do that, Marita. And this is a delightful book we're going to read today, or I'm going to read to you. It's called Thunder Cake by Patricia Polacco. And it's all about a grandma and her granddaughter, and I think you're really going to like it. Oh, and by the way, this is a Russian grandma, so you can. She's going to be called by her name once in a while, which is Babushka. Now, don't forget. Listen for that. Okay, here we go. On a sultry summer's day at my grandma's farm in Michigan, the air gets damp and heavy. Storm clouds drift low over the fields, and birds fly close to the ground. The clouds glow for an instant with a sharp crackling sound, and then a low tumbling sound of thunder makes the windows shudder in their panes. The sound used to scare me when I was little. I loved to go to Grandma's house. Babushka, as I used to call my grandma, came from Russia years before. But I feared Michigan's summer storms. I feared the sound of thunder more than anything. I always hid under the bed when the storms moved across the farmhouse area. This is the story of how my grandma, my babushka, helped me overcome my fear of thunderstorms. Okay, you ready? Grandma looked at the horizon, drew a deep breath, and said, "This is thunder cake weather. All right, looks like a storm's coming to me." And there she is. Looks like it's starting to get windy there, too. "Child, you come out from under that bed. It's only thunder you're hearing," my grandma said. Oh, look at that, and the air was hot, heavy, and damp, and a loud clap of thunder shook the house, rattled the windows, and made me grab her close. "Steady, child," she cooed. "Unless you let go of me, we won't be able to make a thunder cake today." "Thunder cake?" I stammered as I hugged her even closer. "Don't pay attention to that old thunder except to see how close the storm is getting. When you see the lightning, start counting. It's real slow. When you hear the thunder, stop counting. That's the number of how many miles away the storm is. You understand?" she'd ask. "We need to know how far away the storm is so we have time to make the cake and get it into the oven before the storm comes, or it won't be a real thunder cake." Her eye surveyed the black clouds away off in the distance. Then she strode into the kitchen. Her warm hands pulled a thick book from the shelf above the wood stove. "Let's find that recipe, child," she crowed as she lovingly fingered the grease-stained pages into the spot that was needed. "Here it is, thundercloud." She carefully penned the ingredients on a piece of paper. "Now let's all gather the things we need," she exclaimed as she scurried towards the back door. We were by the barn door when a single bolt of lightning flashed, and I started counting like Grandma told me to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the thunder roared. 10 miles? It's 10 miles away," Grandma said, as she looked at the sky. "About an hour away, I'd say. You'll have to hurry, child. Gather them eggs careful," like she said. Eggs from mean old Nellie Peckhen. I was scared. I knew she would try to pick me. "I'm here. She won't hurt you. Just get them eggs," Grandma said softly. And the lightning flashed again, and I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I counted. 9 miles, Grandma reminded me. Well, the milk was next. Milk from old Kick Cow. Grandma milked her. Kick Cow turned and looked mean right at me, and I was scared. She was so big. Zip went the lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I counted. Boom went the thunder. 8 miles, child, Grandma croaked. Now we have to get chocolate and sugar and flour from the dry shed. Oh, and there they are. They're coming down the road. But I was scared as we walked the path from the farmhouse through Tanglewoods to the dry shed. Suddenly the lightning split the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I counted, and boom, boom, crashed the thunder. It scared me a lot, but I kept walking with Grandma. Another jagged edge of lightning flashed as I crept into the dry shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I counted. Crackle, crackle, boom, kaboom, the thunder bellowed. It was dark, and I was scared. I'm here, child, Grandma said softly from the doorway. Hurry now, we haven't got much time. We got everything but the secret ingredient. I wonder what that could be. 3 overripe tomatoes and some strawberries, Grandma whispered as she squinted at the list. I climbed high on the relish. The ground looked a long way down, and I was scared. I'm here, child, she said. Her voice was steady and soft. You won't fall. I reached 3 luscious tomatoes while she picked strawberries. Lightning again. Oh, I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kaboom! Boom! The thunder growled. Oh, gosh. Well, we hurried back to the house in the warm kitchen, and we measured the ingredients. I poured them into the mixing bowl while Grandma mixed. I churned the butter for the frosting and melted chocolate. Finally, we poured the batter into the cake pans and put them into the oven together. Lightning lit the kitchen, and I almost counted to 3, and the thunder rumbled and crumbled and crashed. 3 miles away, Grandma said, and the cake is in the oven. We made it. We'll have a real thunder cake. As we waited for the cake, Grandma looked out the window for a long time. Why, you aren't afraid of thunder. You're too brave, she said as she looked right at me. I'm not brave, Grandma, I said. I was under the bed, remember? But you got out from under it, she answered. And you got eggs from mean old Nellie Pecan. And you got milk from old Cacao. We went through Tangleweed Woods to the dry shed, and you climbed the trellis in the barnyard. From where I sat only a brave person could have done all those things. I thought as the storm ran closer. She was right. I was brave. Brave people can't be afraid of a sound, child, she said, as we spread out the tablecloth and set the table. When we were done, we were hurried to the kitchen to take the cake out of the oven. After the cake had cooled, we frosted it. Oh, boy. Then even the lightning flashed, and this time it lit the whole sky. Boom, 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 crash, and boom. Just above us, the storm was here. Perfect, Grandma cooed. Just perfect. She beamed as she added the last strawberry to the glistening chocolate frosting on top of our thunder cake. As the rain poured down on our roof, Grandma cut a wedge for each of us. She poured us a steaming cup of tea from the samovar, And when their thunder roared above us so hard it shook the windows and rattled the dishes in the cupboards, and we just smiled and ate our thunder cake. From that time on, I never feared the voice of thunder again. And here Grandma had written down on a scrap of paper, my grandma's thunder cake, creamed together one at a time, 1 cup shortening, a 1/4 cup sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 3 eggs separated. Blend the yolks in, beat the whites until they are stiff, and fold them in. 1 cup cold water, a 1/4 cup pureed tomatoes. Sift together 2½ cups of flour, 1/2 cup of dry cocoa, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt. Mix the mixture together into a creamy mixture. Bake in 2 greased and floured 1½ inch round pans for 350 for 35 to 40 minutes. Frost with chocolate butter frosting and top with strawberries. What a great story, and what a great cake to always remember that by when you hear the thunder coming. Don't forget to count.
Thank you, Eleanor. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.